extra lives is an absolute paradise. And baby, we got love, but can we keep it safe enough? It's not so easy, gonna keep us busy, busy. I work hard.
And 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? This is Uche Joker, Sneaker Principal. And I'm coming to you after hours. I have to say that after hours in my office here at John Jay School for Law. So I'm trying something different here. I have a new setup here in my office. Took me some time to put this together. I'm trying to be able to really take this podcasting space to another level, not just for myself, but my students as well. So right now, hold up. Let me see if I can. I'm missing the screen right here. I wanted to. First of all, I need to know if the audio is too loud as far as the music playing in the background. And that's something I cannot tell right now. So let me see if I can put up the chat screen here. A couple of things I need to do here first before I can even progress. Let me see here. For those of you who are watching right now, this is again Sneaker Principal Uche Joku, and I am trying to do one little thing here before I start this episode of this podcast, and I can't find the option I'm looking for here. So what I'm gonna have to do here is, let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna try something different here. Because what I'm trying to do is to get the chat screen going so I can see if there's any messages from those of you watching. And also you can also help me out and let me know if the audio is too loud, if the music is too loud. From where I'm sitting right now, it isn't at all. But I can't tell. So let me do this. I'm going to go into Restream IO Studio. And again, you're going to hear a lot of noise here. You're going to hear noise happening from outside. I am right here in the middle of Brooklyn Park Slope. So you're going to hear everything in the streets, fire trucks going by, cop cars and all that. So it's all good. You know, let me see here. That's not what I wanted. All I want to do is go into my event studio so I can see what's going on here. Clearly, I'm going to do some editing after this with this episode to make sure that I can remove all this extra stuff going on here. Oh, that's what I did not want. Okay, let me get rid of that. No. So let me do one more thing. My trusty phone here. I'm going to go into the phone and see if I can try and see what you guys see. Let me see here, channel. Again, pardon me, forgive my the little chaos going on here because I'm trying to stream live from my office here. So there's a couple of things here that I got to make sure are working properly. So I just want to see what you guys are seeing right now. Turn the volume down. Okay, so I can see myself right here on the phone, and so if you are on YouTube right now, I have my phone here. Drop me a line real quick and let me know how the audio sounds. So I just want to make sure that it sounds okay. The music is not overwhelming me speaking. I have my levels super turned down low. But again, if this doesn't work, it is what it is. I will apologize later and then do it all over again later on from home. But right now I have YouTube on my phone. It looks good. Let me see here. So if you're on YouTube, you can drop me a message real quick. I don't know why I can't find my chat screen on because I use Ecamm Live for that's kind of like my production system, and I don't see the screen for. Oh, here we go. I found it. I was over here looking for the wrong thing. So this is my I have my comments and reactions on right here. But for right now, the one last thing I wanted to do, I just cannot figure out how to do right now, and I don't know why. And that is, that's not it. But again, it is what it is. So again, welcome everybody. This is Uche Joku. I'm here in my Frankenstein office studio. It's actually pretty cool. So maybe one of these days I'll do a video sharing with you what I've set up here. Again, Student Principal podcast. So I want to talk to you today about the why of going to school. And you might be like, the why of going to school, what's that about? So I just left my this is my instructional leadership team meeting. So this is the instructional leadership team, the ILT, and it's comprised of my administrative team. It's comprised of teachers and students, primarily from student government. So they're all in this space together, and we talk about issues having to do with school, specifically from an instructional lens. And for the past couple of weeks, my assistant principal has been really leading us through the completion, or at least the initiation of putting the work together for our CEP, which is our comprehensive educational plan. Here in New York City, every school has to create a comprehensive educational plan, and the purpose of this plan is to kind of give us a roadmap for the new school year. And the thing about that is, this is usually something that a lot of schools should be doing collaboratively, but what ends up happening, people kind of do it, behind closed doors, the principal, the assistant principal, and we try to get this thing that's a compliance piece done as soon as possible. But we are being very intentional here at my school to engage in this conversation with the whole entire community. So during the SLT, which is our school leadership team meetings, which is monthly, we've initiated this conversation, invited parents to come into the school and join us on Mondays after school to have these conversations. And I have to tell you something. What's been happening has been what I expected, but I would say what's expected and also what has been unexpected. And what has been unexpected is the number of the amount of time our students are taking up to express themselves in what's happening in the classrooms. Not from a complaint, oh my God, I can't stand school, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, why are we doing this? But asking honest questions about instruction. Why do we teach the way we teach? Why are certain classes more engaging than other classes? Why is it that, some students, struggle to be in school, and what is it that we're doing to support that? So all these conversations that we're having have been amazing, because it's forcing not just me, but forcing my staff to really realize, and I'll say this, I've always known this, but again, knowing is one thing, the question is what you're going to do about it. When it comes to, engaging students where they are, and also listening to them as well. Because a lot of times we treat school as though it's this dictatorship. You do what we say and that's it. But however, our students are living human beings. They are actually experiencing what's happening in the classroom. They're sitting there and coming to school every day, and they're engaging, or at least trying to engage, and we can't assume that everything we do is going to be perfect or they're going to connect to it. We have to assume that a lot of things we're doing might not connect to them. But the question is, we're making that assumption. What is it that we're doing to make sure that we find a solution to make sure that our students, are not getting lost in the sauce? You know what I'm saying? A couple of teachers during the meeting talked about the overemphasis on the lesson planning and having a lesson plan and making sure you're following all these steps, which are necessary, but less about how is the planning and the steps being created intentionally to ensure that students, when they're sitting in the classroom, are taking away the primary purpose of that lesson. So if you're saying students should be able to, whatever that to is, how are we planning to ensure and maximizing the highest level of engagement so our students are actually walking away with that? That is the thing that today we talked about. And it's funny because what should have been a couple of questions and answers turned into the bulk of the conversation. Like an honest to the core conversation with students and teachers and administration about frustrations of what teaching and learning looks like post-pandemic. I had a student who talked about how, in their humble opinion, doing virtual work is complete nonsense. This is their words. And of course, they were able to give some reasoning behind why they were thinking the way they were thinking and give some examples. But at the same time, you heard the frustration in this student's mind, in this student's voice, when they said, I'll go to class because I want to learn something. I want to walk away from class and be able to say, this is something that I learned that I can put in my back pocket and pull out whenever I need it. Or I've learned something that completely flips something that I thought was correct, but now I realize there's another perspective to that thing. Learning something that's completely brand new, that's opening my world, beyond what it is right now. Like all those aha moments. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell myself, I am a nerd. I was a football playing, track running, active nerd because I love to learn. To this day, I'm the kind of person I would sit down here and find it's funny, last night I found a video on YouTube about what life was like before dinosaurs. And I sat there and I was completely enthralled with all the theories and everything of that nature, and why? Because the way they presented it to me, they just made me, they took me through this theoretical journey from the beginning of the earth all the way to the first amoebas and what they might have looked like until they became these other things that eventually evolved into the life that we have today. The first organisms that soaked up the sun, and start to exercise photosynthesis, like all those things. But the way it was put together had me captured. And someone might say, that's some boring stuff. But sometimes, let's be honest here. I share this with people in today's meeting. Have you been around somebody that you didn't necessarily like very much, but they were a great storyteller? And even when they were telling you the story, you knew it was complete nonsense. But for the 5-10 minutes they were telling that story, you were completely enthralled, and you were just like, what happened next? Even though in the back of your mind you knew that you don't like this person, you don't want to be around this person, but they had the ability to tell a story in a way that engages you, captures you, and after they're done, you're like, whoa, that was a good story. And then you're like, damn, I don't even like this person, but however, they had my attention. It's the same thing in the classroom. Students are asking for, if you want me to come to school, what is it that you're going to do to make sure that when I'm in school, that I'm in your classroom, that I'm getting something from you? That it's not just, lip service where you talk and I'm forced to just, sit there and listen. And again, this is something that we're not, I don't know if we're really spending time talking about. As educators, as the teachers, as administrators, asking ourselves, what did our students think about what do our students think about what we're doing in the classroom? Is that something that we're really doing? Is that something that we are being conscious of? If you're watching this video right now, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. If in your school there's an honest conversation about what is it that our students think about what we're doing. I know a lot of school districts have surveys they do with students, but how are you as a teacher, as an administrator, as a parent, assessing, the level of what's the word I'm looking for? Satisfaction. At the end of a lesson, at the end of a period, at the end of a day, at the end of a week, at the end of the semester, how are you measuring student satisfaction? How are you ensuring that students are actually, getting something out of their experience in the classrooms? And that's something that I started to think to myself, because again, listen, I've been doing this for a couple of years now as a principal. This is my second school. I was an assistant principal for a number of years, and we've tried a lot of different things. And I would say, unfortunately, there's a lot of good things I've done in previous schools that, as climate change, that were kind of left to the wayside. But one of those things I want to bring back is, kind of like they do in colleges. At the end of a course, you rate and you rate the course. You rate, and you're given space to actually speak your mind. And how cool would that be to be able to use technology? How cool would it be for a student to say, listen, here's some questions about the class. If you don't feel like writing it down, record a short video and just upload it onto a board or a Google Doc, so that the teachers, the staff can actually watch and listen to it and get some feedback. It's funny, we talk about feedback and how important that is in the classroom, and making sure the students, when they give work, that they actually getting feedback. I give you a math problem. Not only do I correct it, I give you feedback about how did you do it, how did you perform on it. Not just saying great job. No, you did a great job in making sure you followed all these steps and you made it over here. Look at how you even showed your work as far as determining the square root of that number. Like that level of detail, so students know, okay, I'm doing this right. I have to keep doing this way. How do we make sure that we can take that same thing and do it with teachers, do it with administrators, do it in a way that's timely, and then we can get that immediate feedback so that we can make the right decisions as we plan forward into our lessons. It's incredible. It's incredible to think that just sitting in a room for about an hour, and it was 2 administrators, about 4 teachers, and 4 students. We just sat there and we talked about, and it's funny thing, this all stemmed from a conversation about our goals for attendance next year, and whether or not we should set up a goal around improving whole school attendance or engaging work around particular subgroups. And all teachers, admin, and students gave different reasonings for why it would be better to refocus on the overall improvement, but at the same time establishing benchmarks to look at individual subgroups. And what I mean by subgroups is, looking at, is there a disparity, amongst racial groups, or students with temporary housing, or students who might be special learners or English language learners, and figuring out, if we're doing this for the whole school, how is this impacting those individual subgroups? If we see a particular subgroup is slacking in their overall attendance rate, then we can further investigate and say, hey, how come what we're doing for the whole entire school is not working for this group? Then at that point in time, we can say, okay, let's do this. Let's add this little tweak here, to the subgroup. As a matter of fact, if we see it's working for that subgroup, maybe we can add that tweak for everybody else. Being very intentional and being very scientific in these spaces. This is the work that the conversation we're having today. And again, this was with students, with teachers, and administrators. It's such a powerful thing to give students voice. I think that's what I'm really getting at here. When you give students voice and you say, listen, we want to hear what you have to say, but we don't want to hear it in just in this kind of superficial, we will act like we're listening, so you get out your system so we can shut you up and keep doing what we want to do. But actually listen and engage in that conversation, and allow for that conversation to be so authentic that they can walk out of the room and say, hey, I was at that meeting with Principal Njoku and everybody else, and this is what we talked about, and these are the things that we think we want to do. What do you think? Just when I go back to that meeting, or if you want to come to the meeting. Because at my school, the ILT meeting that's every Mondays after school is open to anyone who wants to show up. There is no distinction made. My thing is this: if we have 40 people show up, then we'll move to the auditorium. But again, we have to create space for voice. I know somebody might say, well, that's a lot of people, but it's not what a community is. You just have to have things in place to be able to best manage your community in those kinds of spaces. But I digress, and I'm going off on a tangent here. So going back to that original topic, the why of going to school. I have to say, I walked out of that meeting and I was just I felt really good, because I was like, man, here we are talking about something that for a lot of people seems like, not really something you talk about with kids, or you have a community conversation about. But again, why do we go to school? And then not only do we go to school, why do teachers go to school? Why do parents want students to go to school? When we're trying to figure out that collective why, so we can have a very clear, purpose, vision, mission around that why, and bring everybody together so that, there's no question about, how we should approach teaching and learning. What do we need to do in the classroom to make sure that why is so strong that kids feel like, man, I missed school yesterday and I don't feel right because I know I missed something. Or better yet, I know that my community missed me because my presence in school is not just for show, but it's because of what I contribute to the classroom. So, but yeah, I just wanted to do this quick video for the podcast and also test out this new setup here. I don't know if the music was too loud. I didn't get any comments. But again, as you watch this video, and I'm going to play it back and figure it out for myself, and hopefully I don't have to redo this this episode. But I'm just looking at my phone real quick here and see if I have any messages that came into YouTube. And but yeah, so again, thank you so much for your time with your Joker Sneaker Principal, and I hope to catch you guys soon and next time. All right, peace, y'all.